Mark Carney's stunning flip on digital tax, what it means for Canada's future. Since the snap federal election on April 28, 2025, which saw Mark Carney rise to the leadership of the Liberal Party and become Canada's Prime Minister, there has been intense scrutiny on the new government's economic agenda. One of the most dramatic and talked-about moves so far has been Carney's sudden reversal on the Digital Services Tax, DST, a policy initially introduced to tax large multinational technology companies operating within Canada's borders. This stunning flip isn't just about tax policy. It's a window into the complex challenges Carney faces as he tries to steer Canada's economy through a rapidly changing digital world. The Digital Services Tax was designed to address a real and growing concern: the fact that many of the world's biggest tech companies, such as Amazon, Google, Meta, and Uber, generate billions of dollars in revenue in Canada but pay comparatively little in corporate taxes here. This gap occurs because traditional tax systems are often based on physical presence rather than digital activity. The DST was meant to help close that gap by ensuring these digital giants contribute a fair share to the Canadian economy. It was also positioned as a way to raise revenue needed for public services and to respond to growing concerns about inequality and corporate responsibility. However, despite its noble intentions, the DST quickly became a source of controversy and economic uncertainty. Many business leaders and economists warned that imposing this tax unilaterally could jeopardize Canada's trade relationships and risk retaliatory actions from other countries. Canada's technology sector, already facing fierce global competition, worried about losing investment or being caught in a crossfire of international trade disputes. Even within Carney's government, voices questioned whether this approach might do more harm than good. International negotiations and pressure played a significant role in shaping Carney's reversal. In the interconnected world of global commerce, unilateral measures are often unsustainable, especially when dealing with multinational corporations that operate across borders. Recognizing this, Carney's government chose to rescind the Digital Services Tax in favor of seeking a multilateral agreement on taxing digital companies through global frameworks, such as those being developed by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. This pivot reflects a pragmatic decision to align Canada with broader international efforts and reduce economic friction. While some political opponents and commentators labeled the move a retreat or capitulation, others praised it as a necessary correction that avoids unnecessary trade conflicts and preserves Canada's economic reputation. It demonstrates a realistic understanding of the challenges that come with enforcing taxation in a globalized, digital economy. The reversal also sends a message that Carney is willing to listen, adapt, and prioritize long-term stability over short-term political points. For Canadians, this policy U-turn raises important questions about how the country will ensure fairness in taxation moving forward. Without the DST, how will Canada make sure that large digital companies contribute appropriately to public coffers? This is a pressing issue because the digital economy continues to grow rapidly and governments worldwide are struggling to develop effective and fair taxation policies. The answer seems to lie in cooperation and negotiation on the international stage, where unified rules can prevent tax avoidance and provide clarity for businesses and governments alike. Carney's decision also highlights the delicate balancing act he must perform as Prime Minister. He needs to foster economic growth and innovation while also responding to the public's demand for tax fairness and social equity. The DST reversal signals that Carney is navigating this complex landscape cautiously, aware that economic policies must be flexible and responsive to evolving circumstances. His background as a former governor of the Bank of Canada and international finance expert equips him to approach these issues with both prudence and vision. Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne has been vocal about the government's commitment to a tax system that is both competitive and fair. The government intends to continue working closely with international partners to develop a comprehensive and equitable approach to taxing the digital economy. This means that while Canada has stepped back from its unilateral DST, it remains engaged and proactive in shaping future global tax standards. Politically, the flip on the Digital Services Tax has been a double-edged sword. Supporters of Carney's leadership see it as a sign of pragmatic governance, an acknowledgement that bold policies must sometimes be revised in light of new realities. Yet, Skeptics criticize it as a sign of indecision or lack of leadership, particularly among voters who hoped for stronger measures to hold big corporations accountable. The government will need to clearly communicate the reasons behind this shift and articulate its strategy going forward to maintain public trust. Beyond taxation, this episode reflects broader themes in Carney's early tenure as Prime Minister: adaptability, international cooperation, and an emphasis on evidence-based policy. Canada's economy is in a state of transformation, driven by technological innovation, changing trade dynamics, and shifting societal expectations. Navigating this terrain requires balancing competing priorities and managing complex trade-offs. The digital services tax reversal is a critical moment in Canada's economic policy journey. It serves as a reminder that the digital economy's challenges can't be solved overnight or through isolated actions. Instead, they demand thoughtful, collaborative solutions that consider global interdependencies and domestic needs. How Carney's government capitalizes on this opportunity to lead on international tax reform will be key to shaping Canada's economic future. As Canadians watch closely, this episode underscores that leadership today means being willing to rethink and recalibrate policies when necessary, qualities that Mark Carney is demonstrating as he guides Canada through the uncertain but promising terrain of the 21st century economy. The road ahead will require ongoing dialogue, innovation, and the ability to balance growth with fairness, ensuring that Canada remains competitive while upholding the values its citizens expect. This evolving story is far from over. The decisions made in the coming months about digital taxation and economic cooperation will have lasting impacts on how Canada competes globally and how it funds its public priorities. For now, Carney's flip on the digital services tax stands as a defining moment, one that signals a commitment to pragmatic governance and a future-oriented approach to economic policy.